welcome! This is brand new as Midland Living Library and I will not be put in an air fryer! Hello, normal size phantom, welcome. I'll put down the shield now. Hi. And hello, Blazy Dribble! Welcome! Thank you for coming. Today we're going to be playing more Higurashi, and we just got to the point where they've told us about all the murders and the disappearances that happen every year. So hopefully we get we've done. To be fair, the fluff was kind of good in this one. I liked the character development. I like the almost an issue with gender roles, really. Hello, Jabba Hop. It is bite-sized brainy, but do not bite. Please do not bite. Hello, Rahel. Indubitably, I am small today. Small, but we can zoom in again today. Ha ha ha. The zoom in. The technology. We have it. Yeah. So we're gonna have the Wataganashi festival this stream, and then hopefully start with the shenanigans that happen after those. Like last time in chapter 1, we know the cameraman got murdered and the nurse lady we spoke to disappeared. That's what happened last time. Will it happen again this time? Let's find out. Let's find out together. Let's go. Then everyone else. They will all think someone from Hinamizawa did it. Yes, because it made sense that Hinamizawa people did it, because it was all people who were against Hinamizawa! Neither Shion nor Takano-san answered that. The deafening silence told me all that needed to be said. Then let me ask another question. If someone from Hinamizawa is the culprit... We've got to warm up the reading muscles. Is the culprit, then who is it? Neither Shion nor Takano-san had a reply to that question either. Though it may have been rude to ask, I hoped they would have one. The reason I asked was to argue that their explanation that the culprit was from Hinamizawa was nothing more than one possibility. Shion caught on to my plan. She gave a pained smile at my petty spite, and opened her mouth to speak. All I said, really, just amounts to circumstantial evidence anyway. If any of us knew who it really was, we'd have gotten them to the police already. As anybody would. Then what about Takano-san? She too smiled dryly as Shion had and opened her own mouth. Well, I'd like to clear one thing up. I'm not a detective or anything, alright? In all honesty, I'm not really interested in who the culprit is. Takano-san, you're sure a handful. Tomitake-san gives a bitter laugh. One second, I realise I've got the wrong buttons. There we go. Correct buttons now. Tomitake-san gives a bitter laugh at her surprising opinion on the matter. You see, I dislike cruel and atrocious ancient history and fairy tales. She's a true crime bitch! I'm a true crime girly, you see. This was written so long ago, but they predicted true crime girlies. Higurashi was ahead of its time. I only enjoy them from a curious onlooker's perspective. So, even for this string of incidents, it's not so much finding out who the culprit is, but enjoying thinking about how the old traditions displayed by the incidents themselves still seem to have some pretty deep roots around here. Though she described herself as nothing more than a curious onlooker, her smile was as sharp as the tip of a blade. Women like her felt very strange and a little scary to me. Correct. Maybe it's just that I was in fearful a way of the person whose emotions I couldn't comprehend. Well, I don't think any of this is interesting at all. The Wataganashi festival is coming up tomorrow, but I don't want anyone to die or disappear. Tomorrow, huh? That's right. It completely slipped my mind. The string of murder incidents people attributed to Oyashiro-sama's curse, it wasn't over. If last year's incident wasn't the end, then tomorrow night at the festival, would someone die? And someone disappear? I do wonder who will die tomorrow and who will disappear, though. Oh, Takano. Takano of the lack of tact. Takano. Takano-san said, running a comb through her hair with elegant movements, with a thin smile and a voice that nearly made me shudder. She almost looked like she was enjoying the thought of the incidents that could happen tomorrow. Then, out of the blue, I heard a round of applause. They seemed to be ending their drinking party early. Right, I was making Mion wait this whole time, wasn't I? I should go back to her soon. Because Mion's like, don't think about the murders, it's fine! You're teasing the kid too much, Takano-san. Now Keiji-kun thinks it's all true. I apologize. It's a bad habit of mine again. I just like spooking teenagers and learning about gory shit, said Takano, sticking out her tongue bashfully. The strangeness in her expression was nowhere to be found. When Takano-san sees an innocent child like you, she can't help but wanting to poke fun at them. It's a really bad habit. Keiji-kun, you listened to everything so earnestly that she ended up getting carried away. Unlike Takano-san, Tomitake-san seemed like a totally normal person with common sense. Pat, pat, pat. I hope you don't die this time, sweetie. They were apologizing after realizing what kind of impression they'd given me. The stuff Takano-san said, it's all fiction. If it made you harbor any bad impressions about Hinamizuwa, then we apologize for that. We're covering our asses in case Oyashiro-sama wants to come for us. Jeez, Jiro-san. You apologize too, Takano-san. Tell him you're sorry for scaring him. Takano-san and Tomitake-san were arguing and messing around now. The strained air around us had already dissipated. Kei-chan, you should get going soon. Too, Mion is the jealous type. If she sees me, she'll probably start a fight. So, I'll be going home. Really? Then I'll go see what Mion's doing and apologize for making her wait, I guess. Sorry for being such a nuisance, Keiji-kun. Could you tell Mion-chan we're sorry for borrowing you so long? Yeah, I don't think telling her will make her feel any better, but sure! Tomitake-san and Takano-san, standing next to each other, both began to chuckle. Okay then, Kei-chan. Let's try and run into each other tomorrow at the festival! We'll see each other. I mean, it's just us we're talking about after all. We'll be making so much trouble it'll be hard not to find us. Yes, because club activities are important. We still have one bit of fluff, and that's probably the festival itself. Then after that, the spook must come in. Shin and I said our goodbyes to Tomitake-san and Takano-san. Before we could leave, Takano-san called out to us. Thanks for listening so earnestly to what I had to say. You're just so good at listening. I had a great time talking to you. Good at listening? Nah, not at all. I was just in a state of perpetual bewilderment from all the shocking topics being thrown at me one after another. Did you like my story today? Well, it was pretty interesting. That's one word for it. Then I'll tell you some more sometime, okay? There's a lot of pretty interesting legends and fairy tales about Hinamizuwa. Of course, a lot of strange and creepy ones too. I'll choose a bunch of my favorites and tell you about them. I was kind of happy, but kind of worried. Correct response. I can't help but smile dryly and scratch my head. Oh, Keiji-san, you are no match for this woman. Keiji-kun, you can go now. I think she literally had only one scene in the last one. She, like... You met her and actually at the festival last time, and then you never saw her again. Takano-san is just messing with you. They say goodbye again and run off. I heard Tomitake-san call out behind him in a clear voice that we should see each other at the festival tomorrow. When I went to the tent, Mion was waiting for me. She was nowhere to be found. I made her wait so long, maybe she got mad and went home. After asking some adults passing by, I heard she went home, talking to some relatives. Maybe I should have done that. But my regret for having made Mion wait wasn't enough to triumph over the impression Takano-san and Shion's uncanny story left on me. Serial murder incidents had happened 4 years in a row. Would tomorrow's events make this the 5th? And the possibility that someone from Hinamizuwa was carrying this all out under the guise of the curse. The queer tradition of ritual sacrifice entirely unbecoming of the Showa period we lived in. I regretted it a little, though it was too late. If none of those creepy stories had anything to do with me, then I should have let Mion pull me away from the crowd. I felt a little ashamed about letting my cheap curiosity get the better of me. But you got a cool story about murders. But the murders, Keiji, the murders. I have tea today, but it's not my usual kind of tea. I have some cold brew tea. Oh my gosh, we have lots of tips. Scrapbook notes. What is that? I'm going to have a look at these. What are the scrapbook notes? Notes from scrapbook. Notes about what? Notes from who? Oyashiro-sama's curse. In the ancient Onigafuchi village, the anger of Oyashiro-sama was feared above all. However, it is seldom stated anywhere that eventually happens. What eventually happens, and what sort of divine judgment befalls them when Oyashiro-sama is angry. From various reports, all hell will break loose. Demons will come flooding out. The miasma from hell will flood outwards and kill every villager, letting not a single one escape. The ones invoking images of the village being annihilated stand out the most. These terrifying ideas of divine punishment are in alignment with many other religious beliefs regarding the apocalypse, and it's easy to imagine that they are just always of convincing people to obey the teachings in the order to prevent such an end. The conditions for inciting Onishiro-sama's wrath are likely the same as the taboos in the Onigafuchi village. I believe that when an act was performed that violates one of these taboos, Onishiro-sama was termed angry. And in order to quell his anger, they would perform the aforementioned sacrifice ritual. Okay, so maybe this is Takano's notes about the legends? I'm curious to read these ones. Scrapbook 2. Human sacrifice ritual. The sacrifice ritual was simply drowning, involving plunging sacrifices into Onigafuchi's swamp, which was considered hallowed. Of the rituals of Onigafuchi village, this one was unique, in that the sacrifice would sink slowly over a long course of 3 days and 3 nights. I believe that it wasn't so much the killing of this sacrifice that was important, but rather the symbolism of them sinking as the submerging of Onishiro-sama's wrath. For that purpose, they must have had a passion for learning various methods for keeping the sacrifice from sinking too quickly, to force them to sink more slowly. Unfortunately, as far as I can tell from the records, those mentions were not recorded. My thoughts are that they have used logs or something or some similar material to create a raft, then set up a scaffold on there, hung the sacrifice atop with ropes, and let them sink little by little over time into the swamp. However, if that were the case, it would not be strange if the ritual implements used for the ceremony were honoured as holy and enshrined somewhere. Okay, unless it's just a really thick old swamp. And it's just so thick you take 3 days to sink into it. That would be awful. That would be awful. Is this a sacrifice method or a torture method? Yes, both. Implements used for the ritual. Ritual tools utilized for ancient religious ceremonies are commonly referred to as implements or ritual implements. And even now, some of them are enshrined on the property of Furude Shrine and the three families. However, the identifiable tools are all decorative, and none appear to have been used in rituals governing the dark side of Onagafuchi village. As the Edo era came to a close and many traditional rituals were lost, were they lost as well? Or perhaps buried in the darkness? I don't believe so. Both the implements used on the night of the Feast of Onagafuchi and those used during the sacrificial ceremony must still exist, enshrined away from the eyes of the masses. Without a doubt, they exist here, today, at this very moment in Hinamizuwa. Also, I'm nearly certain where they've been enshrined. What was once locked steadfastly has for some reason changed this year to a cheap-looking padlock. He may be able to do something about such a lock. However, it is not far from the assembly hall, nor is it even far from the presence of people. However, I will not give up. The night when it becomes a blind spot to every villager in Hinamizuwa is coming soon. Soon it will be. Wataganashi. Oh no! Oh no! If this is Takano's diary, is Takano planning to steal them? Oh gosh. Takano! Takano! Festival's around the corner! So that's gonna be the police talking about it, and I'm not really, I want to get the plot. Plot, 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 plot. Save. Save. End of chapter 6. How many? I'm gonna give a quick Google how many chapters there are in this. Chapters in Higurashi chapter 2. Chapters in chapter 2. Wataganashi Hin. Many chapters, how many chapters, how many chapters, how many chapters? How long is chapter 2? Apparently it's not as big as the first chapter. The first chapter is apparently like 11 hours, but this... No, apparently it's bigger. 14. I lied. How many chapters in each one? Each series... The series is divided into 6 chapters, which is based on the first 6 chapters of the original visual novel series. No, that's about the anime. Apparently it's very hard to find very specific episodes. So I don't know. I don't know how many things. Howdy, Crusader! This is a Tiny Me stream, yes. Tiny Me gets to read Higurashi. We're gonna continue. Justin, time for dinner. No cooking. No cooking the me. No cooking the brainy. I am not food. I really meant to say things differently. I really didn't want to feel this way. Miscommunication drove me in the wedge. Those stuck in apprehension driven to fear. Nobody can stop it now, as cold, hard emotion claws deeply and cruelly at my barred heart. Wataganashi. At that time, why did I whisper in remorse? But now those words simply rang hollow. I don't know what that was. I don't know what happens. I didn't mention eating you, so you're expecting to be eaten. When I am in this form, I usually get threatened a lot with eating. I have been threatened with that before. In fact, if you scroll up, I have been threatened with an air fryer already today. This is why I have this shield, to protect myself, because the chat has been mean to Chibi Brainy before. Wow! It's Keiji-kun! Good morning! Good morning! Not enough for dinner, more like a tiny snack. You may or may not forget about it. The back of the fridge. That's just mean. I don't know what's worse, to not be food or to be forgotten about food. To be food or to be forgotten about food. Rena was ecstatically waving her arms at me, already brimming with energy. What do you mean, good morning? It's already evening. Oh, so we have skipped the day. We are going straight into the festival. Just say hello or something. But, this is the first time I've seen you today, so I think good morning is right. It's right. Oh, Rena. I got it. Okay, then. Good morning it is. Good morning, Rena. I grabbed Rena's head and rubbed it with my hand. Give her head pats! Head pats! I grabbed Rena's head and rubbed it with my hand. She squirmed, reveling in the motion like a cat. He's a good one. It has an salt and bread. Hey, Kei-chan! Sorry about yesterday. I left without telling you. No, it's my fault. Sorry for making you wait so long. Are you talking about setting up for the festival yesterday? How was it, Keiji-kun? Did you do your job properly? The slight muscle pain throughout my body and my sluggish movements were already obvious. I did great! I'm pretty worn out now, though. I grinned dryly as the three of us break out into laughter. Where are Satoko and Rika-chan? Are we meeting up with them at the festival? Yeah! Rika-chan's actually been there since yesterday because she has such an important job. I think Satoko-chan stayed with her, so they're already at the shrine. Right, I just remembered. Today was Rika-chan's big performance. She'd been practicing especially hard for this day. As her friend, I needed to make sure I went there and cheered her on. Alright, let's go right away. Let's go. Yeah! As we got closer to the shrine, we started passing more and more people by seeing lots of parked cars. As soon it began to get noisier too, I thought I could hear something like a bong dance song. A bong dance song? What? Is that those big drums that the Japanese have and then they get a beat and stuff? I don't know. Without being able to restrain my impatience, I dashed up the entire flight of stone stairs. Keiji-kun, you're going too fast! Wait for me! Man, Kei-chan, you're such a little kid. It's fair to be excited. Oh look, good. Not Gundam. They sell Gunpla at the festival? I want to go to this festival. Whoa, the shrine grounds. They were packed with people. It was a festival if I ever saw one. Also, internet is very spotty, so may vanish at some point. So I'll save the bully jokes for next time. Legally distinct Gunpla, I see. Gunpla. Also sounds fun, though. That's good, Overseer Chase. I'm happy to go through stream and not be bullied, so we're good. Wow, they went all out this year too. Amazing, amazing. They're coming from Hinamizawa. Huh, the bedridden old man from Kimiyoshi branch family is here too. I think that old guy went home from Wataganashi last year and stayed in bed ever since. Yeah, there were a lot of villagers here that I didn't really know. They must have been pouring in just for today. Oh! It's Satoko-chan! Hey! Oh, if this isn't everyone! Yes, hello to you all! Yo, Satoko! There's a lot of people here today. Don't get lost in the crowd, okay? Who do you even think you're talking to? Satoko, too, seems somehow energetic. Of course, I'm the same way. Huh? Where's Rika-chan? She still has some free time, doesn't she? Rika was giving her respects to the mayor and other important people. She shall come along. Sure, she shall come before long. Hello, Dolphin, welcome. I see Rika-chan is the shrine maiden for today's festival, after all. It's probably a pain for her to say hello to all the elders. It really is a pain. Hello, everyone. Whoa! Rika-chan! I want to take you home! Omochikaeri. Yeah, I would say, probably best turning me down for this stream. Rika-chan wore an immaculate shrine maiden outfit that looked fresh off the shelves. It was a perfect fit for her somehow mystical appearance. How does it fit? It's not too long, is it? My grandma gave me some safety pins just in case the sleeves are too long. It's alright. It really is comfortable. As she spoke, she began to do some twists and stretches. It's great! It's great! It's so cute! Oh. I'm so glad my mic picks this up. I'm in Discord playing D&D with my friends, and when I want to, like, squeal like that, in character, Discord's like, nope. How dare you? It cuts me off a lot. I don't think Discord is programmed for, like, high feminine voices. There was approximately one person here getting a nosebleed from watching Chan move. Oh, sweetie. Keiji-kun, don't you think she's cute? Don't you? If you don't, then she'll be all mine. I'll take her home with me. She really is cute. Discord can't handle my cuteness. No! I'm too powerful for Discord. Totally cool. Enough that I want to pretend to be her big brother or dad and take pictures with her. If we take pictures from two different places and make her stereoscopic, we can eat, or rather stare at a real-life Ren-chan at our homes whenever we want. Sounds great! Fantastic! Renna's eyes and minds glittered with stars as our nose bled and we drooled. Take home your life-size Rika! Rika, you best stay away from them. Discord knows the power she possesses and as such decided to spare her friends. Yeah, definitely spared their eardrum sometimes. The hilarious thing is my boyfriend is in the other room on the same Discord call, so he can hear me yelling. And all I hear back is, didn't pick you up, sweetie. Yeah, I might get locked in a basement somewhere. You look like you're enjoying it though, Rika-chan. Me-chan, you're being harsh. We are again. Okay, let's not hang around here. Let's get to the festival! There's not much time left until Rika's big debut. Your yelling would be a good morning alarm. There is a short for you. I don't know which one it is, but there is a short where I specifically yelled alarm noises. You're right, let's go everyone! Enjoy the festival! Yeah! Yo! If it isn't the Dodo Sonozaki, eat up! The yakisoba is packed full of pork. Strange British woman alarm clock. Playing D&D in separate rooms, what is this, the 50s? It's only because we're playing D&D with other people who aren't in our house. So we're playing it over Discord. I mean, one of them is in Canada as well. So it's like a bunch of Brits and a Canadian. This year, we filled it up as much as we could. We even put in fried calamari. Huh, pork and calamari yakisoba. Interesting. Gotcha, old-timer. The yakisoba this year looks quite the achievement. You have squid, too. You put a ton of time into this, didn't you? Wow, it's tasty! It's tasty! Yeah, the squid is delicious. But the aroma is just fantastic. It wonderfully compensates for how soft it tends to be. There's a delightful amount of squid and pork in it too. Yeah, not bad at all, I'd say. Haha, Kei-chan, you sound like you could walk into a cooking program and become a host. Yeah! When I see Kei-chan acting like it's so good, it somehow makes it taste even better. I don't discriminate among delicious food. So anything that I say is tasty has got to be worth trying, right? Then, Keiji, please give me your opinion of this yakisoba again. I'll do it in 2 words. Absolutely scrumptious! If I had a second stomach, I'd buy another one right now. Having heard my 3-star rating, a whole line of people suddenly formed in front of the yakisoba stand. Bro has got a future in influencing. Whoa, that was amazing. Kei-chan said it was so good that a little crowd started to form. Not bad. It was nothing to brag about, but I still decided to stick out my chest and put on airs. Oh, is that so? And then perhaps I shall try it out. Mister, could I perchance bother you for 1 takoyaki? Satoko bought a stick of takoyaki balls of fried octopus. That's kind of a lie, because I mean, it's not made of I mean, it has a bit of octopus in it, but it's not made of octopus. It's mostly dough with a little bit of octopus in it. Cover it in cheese and it's glorious. But then if you cover anything in cheese, it's glorious. But I just dream about the cheese takoyaki I had once, and I want it again. Fried chibi with your 5-star meal? No! You cannot cook the chibi! Internet is acting wacky, gonna dip out. Well, thank you for coming in, Hardy Crusader, thank you! I hope your internet decides to fix itself at some point. Satoko brought a sticker from the adjacent stand and after blowing on it, put one of them in her mouth. How is it, Satoko-chan? If you give it a good rating, Rena will buy one too. Chop, chop, chop. Chew, chew, chew. Gulp, gulp, gulp. Now it's time for Hinamizawa's very own food critic, Judge Satoko Hojo, to give her impressions. I thought, though she was all for it a moment ago, Satoko hesitated to give her thoughts. Hey now, what's the matter? Everyone else takes their own and puts it in their mouths. Huh? Rena got gypped. Mine's bad too. There's no... Oh, so it's literally just dough. Just dough ball. There's no octopus in it. This takoyaki vendor. Could this be some sort of summer festival only octopus-free takoyaki stand? An evil takoyaki stand that skimped on the octopus because they figured that it would make them good money today. Oh my. Mine has some. Yeah. It's pretty good considering there's octopus in it. How am I supposed to explain this octopus-free takoyaki is any good? Everyone wondered about that. Our quizzical looks seemed to be drawing equally dubious stares from the people in the line. How about this? Takoyaki without any octopus is really healthy. And even people who don't like octopus can eat this delicious takoyaki. After hearing that, several surprised guests left the line. It had the opposite effect. It was not very effective. Alright, then I'll give it the next try. A self-inspired take on takoyaki, in which you can clearly taste the simple flavors of flour, green onions, and pickled ginger. The unaffected taste is bolstered by the absence of octopus. It wasn't half bad, but after hearing the no octopus in it clause, even more people left the line. Takoyaki without octopus is just a bread ball. It's not even that. It's just... It's a dough ball. Like, it's not even gotten to bread yet. I'd kind of like to try one. Rika-chan, any good comments? Can you be honest? 400 yen is too much for this. Correct. Yeah. That was too honest. Even more customers leaving the line, dealing a lethal blow. Well, that's what he gets for selling takoyaki with no octopus in. This is his own fault. His own fault. There were other takoyaki stands around, after all. Well, I mean, we might not want to be doing this. Hey, Sadoko. You started all this, so give us a great big turnaround. I cannot do it. How do you expect me to be to lavishly praise upon takoyaki without any octopus in it? Health food has that effect. I have takoyaki pans I cook with, and as long as the other sauce and fillings are there, it's still pretty good without octopus. Honestly, it would be. Like, because the octopus is only a tiny weeny bit. Like, it's not where the flavour is. It's all in the batter and stuff, innit? Ah, you idiot. Sadoko's angry outburst was the finishing blow. They deserve it. They 100% deserve it. It should be on their sign. Or they should be figuring out a way to advertise it, not some kids. Ah! All the customers are gone. Huh? The guy is staring at us. Why is that? Why is that? Aww. There's no saving this crowd. Perhaps I, Keiji Mayabata, will lend a generous hand. No, Keiji! He deserves this! He's swindling people! Keiji-kun, you can do it! We want you to save the takoyaki vendor who didn't put any octopus in. Child labor karma. Exactly, we shouldn't be saving this guy. He's literally swindling people. Don't smile as you say something so bitter. Alright, fine. This may be the only chance you'll get to see a pro at work, so watch carefully. I shoved the stick into an octopus-less takoyaki and crammed it into my mouth. As before, there was no octopus in it. But Mion's had some in it. That was the important point. The man who runs this takoyaki stand, he truly loves takoyaki. In every meaning of the word. No, it could even be said that he adores it. Everyone gasped in surprise, including the takoyaki vendor glaring at us. This man truly does love takoyaki, and because he loves it, he doesn't want to create half-hearted random ones. Isn't that right? The takoyaki vendor looked down unsure. Those watching were listening intently, wanting to know why octopusless takoyaki deserved such a high rating. Keiji-san, if he really and truly loved takoyaki that much, why did he make takoyaki without octopus at all? Is he not betraying that very takoyaki? You may be right. In one sense, it is a betrayal. However, it's the best possible compromise this man could find. This man is making real takoyaki today, as he always does. However, only one or two of them on each stick are the real ones. Well, you're right. The one I ate had octopus in it. And considering it did actually have it, it didn't taste bad at all, you know? Right. That was the bona fide takoyaki. And as for the other ones, it was the biggest compromise he could make against the biases of the general populace, who all think that there need to be 8 pieces on the stick, or else it's not real takoyaki. Deep conversations about takoyaki, yeah. Appeal to people's desire to gamble. Yeah! Correct. Huh? Keiji-kun, I don't understand what you mean. Why is one of them the real thing and all the other ones fakes? Why? The secret lies in the octopus. Mister, this octopus, it's truly a Akashi octopus, isn't it? In recent years, the number of octopuses caught in Akashi has decreased, and the prices have risen drastically. The prices are now so high that you wouldn't think of using them in takoyaki. Then the man, who had been looking down the whole time, mumbled, "Yeah, that's right. Akashi octopus is very expensive. Yes, totally." But this man absolutely had to have the Akashi octopus. He could have bought much worse quality octopus for cheaper, as much as he wanted, and he would have been able to fool everyone. There are plenty of other scamming takoyaki vendors who claim theirs are from Akashi, even though they're not. But this man wouldn't accept it. He wouldn't tell lies. Akashi octopus are supreme. He would never relinquish this one stubborn conviction. This man loved takoyaki. That's why he never lied. Yet, there was one point that he absolutely had to compromise on. What might that be? The number. The popular opinion is that a stick of takoyaki should have 8 pieces on it. Even if it's real Akashi octopus, he couldn't charge 400 yen for just 1 piece, could he? If he didn't have 8 pieces, nobody would buy them. This man wept over it. In order to make just 1 true piece of takoyaki, he wouldn't ever let himself lie through the other 7. Wow! The octopus-free takoyaki vendor burst into tears. I gently clap one of his shoulders. No matter what anyone else says, I will never forget how genuine you are. You, sir, are a true vendor of takoyaki. Good strategy, subtly making other takoyaki stalls look bad while spinning a negative trait as a good thing. I know, Keiji would make a great politician. You are the only one in the world with the right to call himself that. Keiji has a bright future on Reddit. Correct. As I embraced the shoulders of the man, shedding his manly tears, those watching delivered a round of applause, moved by my speech. Everyone, I beg of you, please come eat some of this true takoyaki vendor's takoyaki. If we don't treasure genuine men like this, then how can we protect the true path of takoyaki? If nobody else will eat them, then I will eat them all! Jesus Christ. Wow! Wow! Everyone watching is lining up. Keiji-kun, you did it! You did it! I'd vote for him, not because I trust his policies, but because I think it would be really funny. No! Do not vote like that! That's bad! Bad voting policies, don't do it. I think it's more they thought Kei-chan's propaganda speech was interesting rather than the takoyaki actually looked good. Kei-chan, you could probably sell plain old rocks if you get tired. You would do well at product demonstrations in the supermarket. I suspect he would be good at selling off suspicious wonder knives. Absolutely stunned at my successful pitch, the guy manning the stall next to his called out to me. Hey, can you do that for me too? Hey, you guys, do that for my sweets too. Great, you all get the gist of it, right? It's your turn this time, Renna! Okay, I'll do my best. Oh. When apricot sweets are cold, they're very, very good. The apricot is sitting so quietly and nicely on top of the syrup. Oh, it's so cute. I want to take it home. Oh. It looks like she lost herself midway through, but a girl giving such natural praise, it was itself bringing some customers. A line was quickly forming behind Renna. Next up, the Okonomiyaki. Stand! Satoko, you're up. Oh no. Well... The crunch of the fried tempura batter mixed with yakisoba is simply to die for. With a huge piece of bacon laid on top, when you bite into it, it all comes flooding out. Chomp, chomp, chomp. Yeah, that's freaking great. Now I want to try some too. And then a huge line formed at my words. What on earth is this? So basically, all these onlookers are just following us around all the stands. When people hear about food from others, and then try it for themselves, it tastes a lot better than it normally would. Influencing 101! Hey, I know a superhero book that's really good. That you can buy from my shop in the description. It's a great book. I don't think it works with books. So that's it. Even Rika-chan was gorging herself on the food, getting sauce on the bib she'd put on to prevent her shrine maiden outfit from getting dirty. Nice! The older guys are getting into it too. Okay, Kei-chan, which one should I do? Right, Mion. Go to the stand next to that and show them the depths of your power! Mii-chan, the stall next to that is... Whoops. A goldfish scooping stand. It's a bit out of our element. Nope, as club president, I won't flee no matter who my opponent is. Let's get started. I look forward to a splendid performance, Mion-san. The onlookers were also watching Mion with hopeful eyes. You got this, Mion. I believe in you. Welcome, welcome. Here's your net and bowl. Okay, here we go. The goldfish are energetic today. They really look delicious. Small things like these, you could crunch them down whole. Mutter, mutter. Oh, Mion. Mion-san, what in the world are you saying? Mii-chan, you eat them? The onlookers feels like they're just here for a free comedy skit, basically. Did you eat the one Rena caught last year too? No, I didn't say anything like that. It was Shion. It's fucking Shion hiding and saying shit because Shion's a shithead. Mion's face went red, and she shook it vehemently in denial. Well, I mean, you said yourself that they really look delicious. Yes, you did indeed say so. My sister is omnivorous. She eats anything that can go in her mouth. If they taste good, then maybe I'll try one next time. No, Rika-chan! You'll get sick! Wait a second. Hey, what the hell? Shion, how long have you been here? Hey, Kei-chan, Mion, everyone, good evening. Ah! Correct response. This is the natural response to Shion appearing. Where did you come from, Shion? I've been here since the bit with the yakisoba. You were also allowed that I found you right away. Jeez! You've got nothing to do with this, do you? You've got nothing to do with this, do you? Go somewhere else already! Jeez, Mion, don't treat me so cruelly. Right, Kei-chan? You're okay with me being here, right? Fuck off. She asked, grabbing my arm and pushing her chest into it. Oh no, it's the teenage boy fatal weakness. Shion is a stalker. Shion's absolutely a fucking stalker. I do not trust this woman. Child. Bounce. Kichiko, you pervert! Your nose is bleeding! When you squish a jelly donut, jelly comes out, right? It's the same. Keiji! Keiji, get it together! Girl, 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 girl. This is something I have any control over. Is that right? Then no more come out if I squeeze harder. Squeeze! Shion, no! Stop it! You're nasty. Shion's cleavage. It's right up against my chest. Ah! Girl, girl, girl. Ah! Shion, what the heck are you trying to do? You're gonna kill him! Small teenage brain can't do this! How vulgar! I seem to have misjudged you. What about my flat chest? Rika, even! Oh my god. Oh, you sweetie. Rika-chan clasps onto my other arm too. Rub, rub. A plentiful plump feeling on my left shoulder and the sour sensation of a young unripe fruit. Jesus Christ. Are they doing this in front of the advertisement onlookers? Yes, probably, because they haven't moved, so I guess the onlookers are probably still there and freaking out. Eh. Please tell me that was Rena coming to the rescue. Shion, Rika-chan, and I, faces now bruised, fell to the ground, limbs sprawled. Rena! Yes! This is why Rena is best girl. Nice job, Rena. Everyone's so dirty! Aww. Rena punched me. Really? Yeah, that's true. Rika is never usually on the receiving end of that. That's new for her. Rika, you get what you deserve. Sheesh. Now that Shion was here, the energy around us had increased by 120%. Your friends are so much fun, Mion. I never get bored of them. Please get bored of them. Please leave. Right. If you weren't here, it would be way more fun, you know? I want to stay with you all. But if I continue seducing Kei-chan, my sister will look like she's literally going to bite my head off. So I'll retreat. For now. I'll be back. See you, Mion. Don't be back! Get the salt! Someone get the salt! Get salt circle her right now! After teasing her older sister so much, Shion ran away into the crowd of people and disappeared. Good! Stay away. I feel that I have borne witness to a rare side of Mion-san. When Mi-chan is with Shi-chan, she looks kinda cute. Ghost be gone, yes. Banish her. The power of Onyashiro-sama compels you. The power of Onyashiro-sama compels you. Don't say dumb stuff. Let's get to the next stand already. We went just like that, really noisy and lively to the other stands. We were paying money towards the beginning, but midway through, the guys running the shops thought we were just too funny, and we ended up being able to fool around without paying much more. That's lovely. Thump. The vigorous sound of a big takodo drum echoed through the air. Rika, it looks like it's time. Yeah, looks like it. Right, it's just about time for Rika-chan to appear in the offertory dance. I'm a little nervous. Believe in yourself! All of your sweat will definitely amount to something, Rika-chan. Mion slapped hard on Rika-chan's back. That's right, you'll do fantastic, Rika. I'll do my best. Yeah, that's the spirit. I ball my hand into a fist and raise it into the air. We're rooting for you, Rika-chan. Go for it. Yeah, remember? Go for it! Yeah! Rika gave the best smile I'd ever seen, then pivoted on her heel and ran off. Okay, we should get going too. Right, let's go cheer her on. You mustn't! You must keep silent during the performance. I got it, jeez. I rubbed a hand through her hair. She was worried about her good friend up until the end. Then we'd better hurry. All the good spots will be taken. Come on! She gotta fill up that big hole and slam it on the sheets. Wait, that sounds really bad. Mion ran off and everyone else followed a moment later. A large amount of people had already clustered into the tight space to watch the edifying dance. Whoa, this is a lot of people. I turned around to look at everyone else, but nobody was there. Where did everyone go? They probably got lost among all these people. Finally, I spotted the back of Mion's head in the crowd. Is it Mion, though? It better be fucking Mion. It definitely doesn't look like I can get over there. Well, we got separated, no big deal. We can just meet back up when Rika-chan's dance is over. I gave up on finding the others and wandered around, trying to look for a place where I'd be able to see better. It didn't take long for me to realise I'd have to settle for watching between people's heads. Of course, the people in front of me, though. Thump. Once again, an even louder taiko drum resounded. This one was to announce the beginning of the dance. I couldn't see very well, but it seemed like Rika-chan had come on stage with the elders, who were in priestly garb. I heard low exhalations of admiration, and the seniors rubbing their prayer beads in gratitude. Everyone's heads were in the way, and I couldn't see. It was really frustrating. We should have cut playtime short and come here to get good spots earlier. After Rika-chan intoned the prayer, she took the festival hoe and walked to the pile of quilts stacked on the altar. Right. The point of the ceremony was to purify bedding and to hold a memorial service, wasn't it? And then the solemn offery dance began. She had practice using a mochi mallet. The awkwardly shaped festival hoe Rika-chan held seemed really heavy. Back and forth, up and down. It was doubtlessly difficult to even lift in the air, but she sweated and waved and raised and dropped it again and again. She couldn't just deal with it and go and do it grudgingly. As the shrine maiden, she needed to retain the dignity and solemnity present at the festival. There must be a ton of pressure on Rika's shoulders right now. Damn it. Why am I cheering her on from a place I can barely see her? I'm her friend. I should be right up at the best spot rooting for her. Will the scary things start now? They should be starting soon. Soonish. Kei-chan, over here. Someone tugged lightly on the back of my shirt collar. It was Shion. She beckoned me outside the crowded ring of people. She had a mischievous grin on her face, and I took it as her saying she knew a good place nobody else knew of. Shion, what's up? Shh. Just be quiet and come with me. After she told me so, she ran in a big detour around the throng. There she is. The scary things. Yeah, she is the scary thing. Man, it's great to have someone who knows the lay of the land here at times like this. Impressed though I was, I nearly lost sight of her right away. No more getting separated for me. I ran after her so that I wouldn't be left behind. As I wondered in anticipation of what kind of secret spot Shion had in mind, we left the crowd of people and went around to the back of the shrine grounds. Hey, wait, where are we going? We're getting further and further away. Shh. Just stay quiet and follow me. You'll understand soon. Shion gave me a wink that reminded me of Mion as she said that. No sign of people, and not much moonlight. It was dark. Oh, that wasn't Takano's notebook. It was Shion's. We'd gotten pretty far away from the crowd of people in the shrine grounds. How are we supposed to see Rika-chan's dance from here? I see there's some high spot around, is there? Like a rooftop or somewhere I can look down, right? What? Why do we have to climb on a roof? Well, how else are we supposed to see Rika-chan's dance? Did you really want to see Rika-chan's dance? Kei-chan, could it be that you're Strike zone is really low. That's one way to say perv. I don't think we're understanding each other here. When are you gonna show me somewhere I could see Rika-chan's dance easily? What? Who made that promise? Ugh. What's going on? Why me? Why do I always misunderstand Shion? Is it my fault? Am I just reading the wrong things into it? No, Shion's just Shion. Then why do you call me all the way out here? With an expression that indicated she wasn't fooling around, Shion pressed her index finger to her lips and said slowly and quietly, "This place is a dark, dead, empty spot. You can see it from the festival grounds, and now a male and female of the same age were alone together." Could this be? Shion, she's not planning something crazy again, is she? Shh. Look over there, see? Shion whispered, pointing into the dark underbush. There we saw two figures, one male and one female. What's that? Is that? We're right at the scene of a rendezvous, of course. See, look closely. Can you tell who they are? I peered intently into the dark at Shion's suggestion. Oh, it's Tomitake-san and Takano-san. The two of them were clearly breathing quietly and glancing around to make sure nobody knew they were there, but as they crouched before the entrance to a wooden storehouse-like building. Wait, Shion, could this be what you wanted to show me? Kei-chan, you see Rika-chama's dance any year, but you won't ever get to another chance like this, okay? You just got Shion! I had thought that the Sonozaki sisters each had their own personalities, but at times like this, they seemed all too similar. I'm going back. Don't call me for something like this again. If you move now, they'll see us. At our noisy argument, Taka-san suddenly turned around. Oh my, who might that be? We held our breaths and tried to wait it out, but it seemed Takano-san was now acutely aware of our presence. Shion and I exchanged glances, then gave up and climbed out from behind the bush. Well, hello there. The moon sure is beautiful tonight, isn't it? My. If it isn't Shion-chan and Mayabara-kun. Good evening. Yes, the moon is certainly pretty. What's this, Keiji-kun? You sure are smart, you know that? Having a secret date in a place like this. No! Not with this bitch, anyway! Then I guess we accidentally interrupted something important. You're the ones who were meeting up secretly. Tomitake-san and Takano-san laughed to themselves, and it got on my nerves for some reason. So, you two weren't having a little rendezvous then? Of course we weren't. Though, I don't dislike that kind of romance. Unfortunately, this wasn't the location of a rendezvous either of you wanted to see. Sorry for not living up to your expectations. I think you should underestimate Shion. I would never underestimate this girl. She's terrifying. I think you underestimate Shion. She's not that bad. In this route, she gives me bad vibes. I have watched the anime and I do know she might get a little better, but currently bad vibes. If this wasn't a rendezvous, then what were you doing? Tomitake-san, were you messing around with the padlock on the door just now? Huh? After she said that, I looked at the two of them again, and I definitely saw it. They were hunched in front of the warehouse door, fiddling with a pretty heavy-looking padlock. I guess we've been found out, huh? We were trying to break into the warehouse, but don't tell anyone, alright? Don't tell anyone. Are you thieves or something? I demanded unthinkingly, because of how absently Tomitake-san was grinning. Nah, never. Thieves are people who steal things, right? It's not like we were trying to take anything out of there. I see. Then why are you trying to unlock that door? This is the forbidden storehouse for ritual tools. They say only Furaday family and a mere handful of others are allowed in. Forbidden storehouse? I took a few steps back at that and looked on the entire warehouse. Like one built, removed from any sign of people, almost as if in secret. It was filthy, revealing just how little it was ever opened. And it was built to be durable, giving a strange, overpowering impression. Now that I looked at it more closely, it was certainly different than normal warehouses. It's got a lot of doggos outside. This place, they're called ritual implements. Basically, this warehouse where they stored such tools used in rituals. Well, more accurately, maybe it's a temple where the implements are enshrined. The ritual Ho Rika-chan is using for the Offery dance was inside here until today. Of course, if anyone but the Furaday family enters, they bring impurity to it, so absolutely no one is allowed to step inside. It's sanctuary. Shouldn't we absolutely not be coming to a place like this then? However, Takano was wearing a childlike expression, an innocent smile at best, and a terribly cruel grin at worst. I told you I was researching Hinamizuo's folk tales and legends out of an interest in them, didn't I? A lot of the answers to questions I'm curious about are hidden away inside here. I've waited all this time until today for this chance. A chance. Everyone's eyes are fixed on the dance at the shrine grounds today. This was the ultimate blind spot. I see. I didn't know you had lockpicking skills, Tomitake-san. Stop it. I don't want to be doing this, okay? Sorry for taking you along with me, but this is all thanks to you, Jiro-san. I'm really grateful. Let's go trespassing into the torture dungeon. Ew, correct. Sheesh. This is the only time, understand, Takano-san? I don't want to be sneaking into places like this. You really are a good person, Jiro-san. Click. Tomitake-san undid the padlock and placed it to the side. It's open. Thank you. At long last. Takano gulped with an unusually excited air about her. She gave the heavy door a shove. The smell of mold and dust flowed out of the gap in the doors. I had claimed curses didn't exist, but in this situation I could believe them. If we went into such a holy place with our shoes on, it feels like we could be punished somehow. How about it? Your accomplices too. You came all the way here, so why not come in and take a tour? It'll be a little field trip to a museum of precious cultural artifacts that conceal the secret history of Hinamizuo. And it's only open today. We're not accomplices or anything. I mean, you kind of are. Aren't you interested, though? Come on, let's take a peek. Peer pressure, peer pressure, peer pressure, peer pressure. Shion said, predictably linking her arm in mine. But we definitely shouldn't be doing this. This is a holy warehouse, isn't it? But you said ritual implements, right? I really feel like we shouldn't go in. I'm part of the Sonozaki family, so I have a good guess at what we'll find in there. But I want to see it too, Kei-chan. You want to show something to me? I thought it was just a ploy, but Shion's eyes looked entirely serious. Of course, she was the sort who could lie with a straight face. Of course, I was an average boy, too, and she's a pretty girl. Oh, no. My curiosity was at least twice that of a normal person. Is that a boy thing? Boys will be boys? Boys will go into haunted places? Sleeping, forbidden treasures, never to leave this warehouse. Chances like this don't come around too often. If I had to choose, then I want to see. Until the locked door is open now. I don't know about this. If you're not interested, Kei-chan, then you can leave now. I think you'll wonder about it later, though. Tomotage-san spoke after listening to our discussion, himself having sat down on the stairs to take a short rest. I'll keep watch here. Go in and check it out with them. I'm not too interested. But it might be pretty interesting for a young guy like you, Keiji-kun. Yeah, look at all those torture devices, Uwu, he said, laughing mischievously. There was no ill will in his laughter. Tomotage-san, do you know what's in here? Kind of. Takano-san told me all about it. Must be a pain to have to go along with your companion's unique hobbies, huh? Tomotage-san didn't answer that, only responding with a pained smile. Tomotage-san is a bro! Bro, I need you to, pick a lock for me. Say no more, bro. Say no more. Takano-san's had this kind of scary air about her. Like she'd drop absolutely anything else for something she had an interest in and go straight for it, but Tomotage-san, on the other hand, seemed like the gold standard of what a normal person should be. Having him tell me so frankly to go check it out suddenly made the guilt feel a little lighter. Okay, but just a little. Just a little peek. Just a little peek. If it's not interesting, I'm leaving. You got it! Shion gave me another Mion-like wink. Looks like we're decided. Shall we go inside? Jiro-san will leave this to you. Tomotage-san waved his hand to see us off. And what did we find inside? Ow. I hit myself in the face with my water bottle. Yay! Inside was pitch black, but Takano-san turned on the battery-powered lantern she'd brought, revealing a pretty cramped front room. It's so dark in here. Everyone, take care not to trip over anything. I appreciate the concern. Okay, doorman, keep a good watch. We're shutting the door now. Takano-san smiled spitefully as if leading Tomotage-san out of something fun and began to close the door. Man, alright everyone, have fun. My god, it's full of Hololive merch! Each room is a shrine to each member. That's a lot of rooms, actually. There was a low, heavy, and loud noise, and we were completely cut off from the outside world, and covered in silent darkness. Takano-san's lantern was the only light we had. It'll be fine. It's an outdoor lantern with backup batteries inside. It won't go out or anything. Looks like Takano-san noticed my uneasy expression. I couldn't help but blush a little and avert my gaze. Deeper inside, there was a heavy and old sturdy door with solemn decorations on it. It was the last door sealing away what was within. Strange how it has an antechamber even though it's a warehouse. Isn't it? Antechamber, that was the wrong word. I believe it's set up this way so that you open one door at a time, never letting the room within, with all the tools, be seen from the outside. Takano-san explained this, awfully impressed by the construction. But still, it's really dark in here, huh? That, over there, it's... I spotted a circuit breaker hanging from a clump of wiring, clumsily attached to the wall. Oh, here! It's the light switch or something. I flipped the biggest switch I could find, and with a click, the pitch-black room was illuminated by an old bare light bulb. Everyone scrunched their faces and at the sudden strobe of brightness. Don't! Before she even finished, she unslapped my hand and flipped the switch back. There was another loud click and the room returned to darkness, with only the lantern for illumination. Ow! You can't, Kei-chan! We snuck in here, remember? If you turn on the light, it might give us away, dum-dum. I'm scolded by Shion fairly harshly. As you should! Bro, I know you didn't plan on breaking and entering during this festival, but still. It looked like she was worried about whether someone had seen them from the momentary light. It's all right. It was only for a moment. Takano-san remained a relaxed adult. It seemed like she was confident she could talk her way out of it if someone did see us. Let's go in. Here we go. There. The even heavier door opened, and this time it wasn't just the dust that came out with the air. There was also a nasty smell. One smell was like opening a dust-filled cupboard in the back of a kitchen that hadn't been opened in years. And the other smell, the nasty one, was hard to explain, but it was like the raw odour of a fish market. From how the sound echoed, this room felt larger than the first. Takano-san held up her lantern and revealed the contents of the expansive room. Whoa! At the back of the storehouse, right in front of us, was a Buddha-like holy object standing there looking down at us. The funk of 4,000 years. I was taken aback by its unseen force, lit up by the slender beam of the lantern. Yep, those are torture devices! Oh, lordy! That's the guardian god of Hinamizawa, or Yashiro-sama. It's far grander than the one at the shrine. Or Yashiro-sama. So this is the spirit protecting Hinamizawa. The one guardian and guardian of the holy land of Hinamizawa from the impurities of the outside world, and the one delivering punishment after punishment upon those who attempted to sully the lands with the dam construction. It looks like there are far more tools stored here than I thought, but this is so sad. None of them have been maintained. Is Jigsaw the guardian spirit of Hinamizawa? I don't think Oyashiro-sama's quite that creative. How unfortunate that they're in such a sorry state. How dare they let their torture devices go into such a sorry state? Even in the dim light, I could see a lot of strange objects lining the walls, ceiling, and shelves. Takano-san, speaking as if in a trance, was infuriated by the various implements filling the dark room. They weren't very festival-like or traditional, but instead this was more like the workshop of a blacksmith or a carpenter. There were a lot of large wooden and metal tools packed in here. Putting it bluntly, it was all pretty boring stuff. Yeah, boring stuff! I'd imagined there would be more artistic things in here from the Heian period, but these are a far cry from being cultural artifacts. My expression betrayed my dashed hopes, and they caught on right away. Oh? Is this not interesting for you? I'm not into literature or art, so I can look at this stuff, but I don't really understand its value. Keiji-kun, you really do look like you don't get it. I guess that's only natural. Techno-san reached into a paper bag that she'd been holding the whole time, took out a worn scrapbook and began to flip through it. Then just for you, Keiji-kun, I'll tell you an old story. It's a common tale in this religion. If you go to the library, it would even be on their recommended reading list. Telling stories in such a dark, creepy place? She must have had a horror story in mind. Shion's face belied nothing but calm. If she had the same personality as Mion, she'd have found fault with me being scared. I'll endure it for now, and pretend to be calm. Okay? All right, I'll read it. After confirming that I was going to be quiet and listen, she began to speak softly like a kindergarten teacher reading a picture book. Long, long ago, in a certain village in the mountains, there was a swamp. This swamp was very, very deep. Some even called it bottomless. People said it was connected to hell, the land of demons. The rumors said that it was deeper than the ocean, and that anyone it swallowed would sink into the underworld, a bottomless swamp. Its name was Onigafuchi. Wait. I thought back to the story I heard yesterday about the sacrifices sinking into the bottomless swamp. Could that be the swamp she's talking about? So then the village was Hinamizuwa, right? You catch on quickly. That's right. Though it was called Onigafuchi Village at the time. Onigafuchi Village? That's a pretty inauspicious name. It evokes quite the image, doesn't it? I hear that the name was changed in the Meiji period. The name of the swamp connected to hell was called Onigafuchi, which meant the demon's abyss. The true name of this village, Hinamizuwa, was Onigafuchi Village. The villagers belonged to that abyss, or to hell in other words. They lived their lives worshipping the swamp that connected to it. But then one day, demons began to appear, one after another from deep in the swamp. The villagers feared that hell was overflowing. The demons mercilessly attacked the villagers. They could only watch in fear. They could do no more than hide themselves and tremble. So did someone exterminate them? Unfortunately, there is no Momotaro or Superman in this tale. Then, did they get the whole village together and fight them? Heavens no. The villagers weren't nearly strong enough to fight on equal terms with demons. Then the only recourse would be to flee the village. They couldn't do that either. To the villagers, it was their beloved homeland. It didn't matter how terrifying the demons, they wouldn't have run away so easily. then what did they do? Wouldn't they just get wiped out? Unable to fight and unable to run, all they could do was wait for the village to be destroyed. Then, when everyone had lost hope, their god, Onyeshiro-sama, descended onto them. I see. So Onyeshiro came down from the sky and beat up all the demons then? She said there's no Momotaro or Superman, KG. Weren't you listening? You're such a boy, KJ. Such a fucking boy, bro. Always jumps straight to using force to resolve things. Shion sighed, a little annoyed. Embarrassed, I held my tongue. The thing about Onyeshiro-sama, he wasn't a violent god who would beat them up, like you're saying. He was a kind god, filled with love and benevolence. The strength of Onyeshiro-sama descended from the heavens couldn't be compared to that of the demons. They didn't even fight. They simply prostrated themselves before his radiant authority. Onyeshiro-sama urged them to go back to hell, from whence they came, but the demons wept and challenged him, saying they could never return. The world of the demons, too, had harsh commandments. They claimed they had been banished from hell. Demons who didn't have a place to go, neither hell nor the human world. Of course, they were at fault for attacking the village. They deeply reflected on it and were sorry. As the villagers conversed amongst themselves, little by little they came to pity the demons, and, after talking with everyone in the village, they decided to live among them. A lot of fairy tales have them being exterminated or driven away, but you don't often hear where they live in peace. You're right. Demons are supposed to symbolize all evils. A story where they decide to live together with humans is certainly strange. When the demons first heard the villagers' invitation, they doubted their ears, but soon burst into tears of joy. The villagers had given them a place to live. It was said that in payment for this good deed, the demons shared their many kinds of powers and secrets with the villagers. Onyeshiro-sama was very pleased with this happy exchange. He gave the demons the bodies of humans so that they would be indistinguishable from the villagers. He himself decided to stay on the surface and watch over the everlasting peace between them. A land which man, demon, and god live together. I had thought the word demon as a noun, meaning evil that needed to be exterminated. A god may have mediated for them, but you don't often hear happy endings like that, where both sides live in harmony. Demons ain't my grandmother, but it's okay, now we live in peace. That's why it's a fairy tale, I guess. I see, I guess it is kind of interesting. And then Frieren showed up. I haven't seen that anime. Would she ruin it? I see, it says guess is kind of interesting. Although the normal fairy tale ends there, it was revised quite a bit during the Edo period into a much longer story. After that, the humans and demons intermixed, and eventually there was no difference between them. So demons ended up disappearing? No, not at all. Half of them stayed just as they were. The knowledge the villagers had received from the demons basically made them into something inhuman, what people called transcendent. They were well aware of the power they had was heresy, and as those below worshipped them, they lived out their lives in secrecy. This story is the root of many derivative tales and pieces of fiction. It's the foundation, I mean, the basis. What do you mean by the root? She means the part about the villagers having demon blood. What I mean is all of the legends from around here are based on the premise that the villagers are descended from demons. There was a hint of amusement in Shion's face as she did that, because she loves the idea that she's descended from demons, and to be honest, I would too. It'd be kind of badass. It was like she wanted to say that she too had demon blood in her. Is there any proof of that, though? Maybe it's somehow rooted in historical fact, because fact beyond just fairy tales. Oh? Mayabara-kun, do you believe that demons really did come out of the swamp and breed with humans? It's not that I don't believe it, but when she said demon, she meant the ones from hell, but in ancient Japan, the word wasn't necessarily used to denote that kind of thing. Or was there a translation issue? The more well-known use involves the drifting foreigner theory. As the story goes, Westerners who were shipwrecked in nearby seas had such markedly different customs that they were called demons. Oh! Japanese people were relatively similar in appearance to other Asians, but everything about those from the West was different. Their physiques, their faces, their skin color. In Japan, terms like red demon and blue demon evoke images especially of Westerners. Lacking in skin pigments, Westerners would sunburn easily and turn red. Being fair-skinned, I think blood vessels appearing on their skin would look blue too. A handful of accidental aliens would drift into Japan and came under persecution, being called demons. They would flee into the mountains to survive, turn into bandit groups and attack villages for food and the like. How does that explain sound? How does that explanation sound? Maybe a bit childish? Takano gave me a weird smile. Having come up with such an impromptu hypothesis, I unconsciously followed up with self-depreciation. Still, she didn't smile as if she was making fun of me. It's not that ridiculous. There are a lot of people who subscribe to the drifting foreigner theory. Even so, nobody actually knows what happened. There were groups of foreigners who had turned to banditry, or were there really demons who had come from the bottom of the world? Then, Takano-san, which one do you believe? Truth of the matter aside, I'd rather believe the more fantastic explanation. I hate that that's how I kind of see things. Because I remember when, at one point, we were talking about Alice in Wonderland in English literature class. And it's like, okay, so what do you believe? Do you believe that Alice was having a dream? Or do you believe that she actually went to another world? And I was like, I believe she actually went to another world. Why? Because that's cooler. Not for any logical reason. I just like the fantastic explanation. It's more fun that way, isn't it? I get you, Takano. I do. I understand. This is how I feel. Her answer made her sound a wee bit like a romantic. Also, 10 out of 10 for any translator that wrote "wee" in here. It's great. Just a wee bit of a romantic. Here I'd thought she'd reject unrealistic stories like that. Cooler is indeed better. Exactly, Davgame, exactly. Now then, this is where the fun begins. Takano brought an end to her storytelling and waits for a moment as if to tantalize us. Huh? Suddenly Shion looked around as if something had caught her eye. Her head bobbed to and fro like she was making sure nothing had changed. What's wrong, Shion? I'm sorry. Please don't worry about it. Shion pretended as though nothing had happened. Takano-san also made sure nothing had happened, then cleared her throat and broached the next subject. I explained that half of the villagers have demon blood. That blood, they actually say, that it's the blood of the kind of demon that eats people. Man-eating demons? That escalated quickly. That blood still runs through the villagers' veins. They say that sometimes the blood awakens from its slumber. I thought the fairy tale had a happy ending with the humans and demons living in peace, but it began to suddenly change into a brutal, bloody story. Well, they eat people. They say that every decade or so, they can't help but want to feast on human flesh. The villagers can't eat other villagers. So when this happens, it's said that they descend on the human villages and conduct onikagushi. Got demon blood in me. Chibi eating demon blood. No! Stay away. Stay away, chibi eating demons. What's onikagushi? Broadly speaking, it's when a demon kidnaps someone. When a person is demoned away. Tasty chibi! No! They say that the villagers of Onigafuchi would overwhelm unfortunate human villagers, and in order to kidnap sacrifices. Takano-san explanation was plain and simple, but when I imagined what it must have been like, it was terrifying. They lose their human reason. The villagers turn into real demons en masse. They attack the villagers they loathe in the dirty world of the masses below. And then they kill and eat their sacrifices. So they're no different from demons after all. What did Onyashiro-sama do? Wasn't he supposed to be staying in the village and watching over them? Onyashiro-sama knew about it, of course. Onikakushi isn't indiscriminate. The villagers apparently never kidnapped anyone other than the sacrifices decided upon by their god. In the text, it's usually one or two people. A village inhabited by those with both human and inhuman. It was like the heartwarming episode colors had inverted, like negative film, revealing the painful and ugly truth. So, on the nights when they stole away villagers, they would feast on their kidnapped sacrifices, which is why the nights came to be known as Wataganashi. Wataganashi? Tonight's festival was Wataganashi. I just couldn't reconcile the fun festival with the horrible tale Takano was telling me. Wataganashi, well, wasn't it about giving thanks to the futons we used over winter or something? Kei-chan, Wata has another meaning, you know. It means entrails. Shion, who had been silent till now, spoke up. Entrails. Oh yeah, I guess that's true. Like fish guts. Wait, what? Like a jigsaw puzzle, the fun times I had the day and Takano's grotesque tale clicked together in my mind. Wataganashi is so gut-spilling. I didn't think saying that could ever feel so nauseating. Yes, it's as you imagine, Mayabata-kun. Right now, the Wataganashi festival might be a somewhat early summer festival occurring every June, but it used to be different. It used to be a ghastly cannibalistic feast held on the night the villagers had collected their unfortunate dinner. That can't be true! I had no real reason to say that, but I couldn't help it. Mayabara-kun, you said that Wataganashi is a ritual about purifying futons, right? What do you think the futons filled with cotton, with wata, represent? Futons are futons! They're beds! They're things for sleeping in! What else could they possibly represent? I was rattling on, desperately attempting to deny the horrible festival that Takano-san was describing. Deep down, however, I found myself understanding it all too well. What she meant. Futons stuffed with cotton. The cotton represented the entrails in both pronunciation and meaning. Then, entrail-filled futons would have been humans. Why don't you think back to the awfully dance Rika-chan performed? Do you know what she's doing up there? No, I don't. I didn't watch the whole thing anyway. You know though, sweetie, you know. Shh. Kei-chan, you're getting too worked up. Shion grabbed one of my ears and reminded me that this wasn't somewhere I should raise my voice. Even so, I still can't suppress the agitation I feel. Rika-chan was carrying a festival hoe. You probably realized it already, but it's not a hoe for plowing fields. It's a tool for dissecting human bodies. I didn't see the dance all the way through, so I don't know what kind of performance Rika-chan was putting on after I left. A rare shot of actually seeing Keiji. Nathan exclamation voice. So you're telling me these villagers have a festival about kidnapping and eating people's guts out? Brutal. Indubitably. When I told this to Takano, she kindly explained Rika-chan's dance to me. To summarize what she said, after what I'd seen, Rika-chan would pierce the futons with that hoe, cut them open, and pull out the cotton inside. She'd cut the cotton out, one bit at a time, and set it afloat. That's the kind of ritual it was. Broadly speaking, it was quite the bombastic ceremony, where they'd rip out the guts and throw them into a basin. And then the ritual was over. It's thought that afterwards the villagers, each with a different role, dismantled the flesh piece by piece and feasted upon it. At Takano-san's strangely happy giggle, I felt, for some reason, violent displeasure. Rika-chan, every day during our lunch break, she'd take a rice-pounding mallet into the schoolyard, and she'd work so hard, sweating bullets to practice for the offertory dance she'd done today. All that effort, all that work, Takano-san disgraced it. Even though she worked so hard to practice for today. Takano-san, I think you should choose your words more carefully. Kei-chan's pretty naive, so please don't tease him so much. He is pretty naive. But this whole game is spoopy, so he has a reason to be spooked. He's surrounded by spooky women! Ah, the three hair colors. Blonde, brunette, and green. A moment before I opened my mouth to express how angry I was, Shion stopped me. Shion must have been fully aware of how that story made me feel. I'm sorry. I thought you'd like a story with that shock value since you're a boy. Takano spoke with a hint of malice as I smiled gratefully. After hearing all that, did you figure out what kind of stuff this storehouse is, Kei-chan? See, look. Shion pointed to one of the walls, vaguely illuminated by the lantern's light. There was... Mere moments ago, they hadn't held my interest. They were just boring-looking tools lined up on the shelves. Those uninteresting tools that I didn't understand how to use. They all suddenly took on a new meaning, and I couldn't help but let out a groan. At first they had looked like carpentry tools, like chisels and planes. However, when I look back, I'd see pictures of these sorts of tools before. They're butchery tools. Yeah, they came up in a Japanese history textbook. Yeah, on the page introducing Kaita Shinzo on the new text on anatomy. These sorts of things. This game is so sexist. This game is pretty sexist, I'll give you. It's old. It's old. It doesn't know what it's doing. It's a product of its time. But it definitely is sexist, 100%. They're printed realistically in the literature of Germany, capital of the medical world. These aren't carpentry tools. These strangely shaped tools, they're for dissection. Everyone knows that in the Edo period, they would dissect the corpse of those who had been put to death in order to gain knowledge about Western medical techniques. Illustration of the dissection tools they used at the time came up in the textbook supplements. Things hung up on the wall all looked exactly like those. If you want a scarier way of looking at it, think of them as cooking utensils. Takano, you're not helping! Takano, holding the only light source in the room, led us along the wall. She had the only light, so I had to walk after her whether I liked it or not. Look! Takano-san illuminated a coiled chain, which left a bigger impression than the other things we saw. The chain itself was nothing unusual, but further along were metal fetters that were like hinges, clearly meant for binding people. Kei-chan, look at that! She tapped me on the shoulder and pointed to a restraining table that was clearly shaped like a person. My spine froze and my blood felt like it was going to turn into sherbet as it crawled up my back. On each of the joints there were things like chains and iron balls attached. It was like the table was searching for its next sacrifice, ready to spread their arms wide and close them in. It's probably a chopping block. I think you'd strap the sacrifice down and prep them for eating. It's the 50 Shades of Grey room. It's the 50 splatters of blood room. 50 slices of entrails. The words chopping block sent a jolt through my body. When I looked more closely, there were many dark slices carved into it, as though from a knife or a saw, 50 Shades of Red. They were the most clear-cut signs of usage I could ask for. It proved these tools weren't just for show. They were used for their original purpose. If someone was strapped tightly onto this table, they probably wouldn't be able to move even a muscle. Their guts would be defenseless. You'd take one of those eerie-looking knives lined up there and stab them with it, and then you'd slice open their belly and dissect them. I heard the stories, but this is incredible. Before coming here, Shion had mentioned she had a good guess of what was inside, but it seemed to have exceeded her imagination. And to think an hour ago we were just goofing off. goofing around trying to sell octopusless takoyaki. Honestly, that's kind of the beauty of this game. For the first few hours, you're just doing random shit and watching these kids be kids, and then suddenly, you found a torture room! What the fuck? It's great. There's still more. How about it? More fascinating than a wax museum, isn't it? Takano-san had this happy expression, like she was visiting a toy store for the first time. I don't get it. Good. Don't get it. It's better not to get. This Mio Takano person has nerves of steel. Are these bizarre, grotesque objects that fascinating to her? I, for one, was not enjoying myself. I'll be frank. This was all too weird for me. Still, there was something even more horrifying than this. That would be none other than Takano herself. Takano-san holding the lantern, giving off such a thin beam of light. If she suddenly turned it off, then I would... What would I do with that when the next moment everything went totally dark? Weird is the polite term. Yeah, it's grotesque. It's awful. That's why I was scared. Takano-san had the only light. And anyway, I was scared. At some point, Shion had started holding onto my shirt sleeve. It was a little annoying to walk around like that, but I didn't shake her off. That minor sensation allowed me to feel the presence of an ally here and now. Before we had even walked halfway through the storehouse, the air I felt on my skin changed completely. These cruel tools lined up, all crammed together in this place. Some were horrible ones made to take away sacrifices' freedom, and some were tools made to efficiently disassemble and prepare the bodies for consumption. Those were just things I understood. There were plenty of other strange-looking devices that I couldn't even guess the purpose of. Now that I was here, I didn't have the slightest desire to hear the details about what sort of terrifying reason they were meant to be used for. At the very least, they were all completely different from the sort of clean, simple killing functions of a katana. Tools to kill people, obviously constructed in such a way that they could kill people. Why isn't anyone looking for them? Because everyone is watching the dance. Literally everyone is watching the dance right now. And then they're gonna be like doing their cotton floating ritual. This is the only time they could get away with this. If that was the goal, then the person you used them on would obviously end up dead. What a long dance. It's probably not as long in-game, because obviously I'm reading it and everything, so I don't know whether in-game it's just not as long as we think it is. And also, like I said, there's the ritual after where they all take bits of cotton and then float it down the river, so they're probably doing that as well. The kinds of tools here, however, were different. The tools that were here were for cutting people, for crushing them, for boiling them and cooking them, and for grinding them. They were tools of torture. They weren't made to kill people. People dying was just an incidental result. Actually, they might not even kill them. If the sacrifices could die during such a horrific ritual process, that would be nice, but they don't even die in the end. They remain in a state of hellish pain. Perhaps they were only being allowed to live. Now, in this moment, I didn't fully realize just how terrifying and fearsome that difference was. People you see, most of these wouldn't kill them if used properly. Takano-san, as if reading my mind, displayed a shocking smile. Burning at the stake, the infamous method of execution for witches, will kill the person immediately. Not really immediately. They might die of asphyxiation from the smoke or screaming in agony, but not quite immediately. When the body suffers extreme burns on the skin all over, the decomposition of the skin's chemical makeup produces a poison-like symptoms and causes an immense shock to the victim. Though, I suppose, it's still a very cruel compared to the guillotine. You have to wait far longer for that to happen. Yeah, that one's anxiety-inducing. She described such horrors in a strangely medical way. Shion immediately answered the question I had. Takano-san is a nurse. There's a saying that nothing can scare a doctor. I guess it's true. Oh, and also, there was a method of execution in ancient Rome where they would grill the person, just like a barbecue. They would cover the person in a wire netting and slowly cook them over a charcoal fire. To think the memories of when I went to a day camp with my family would come rushing back, now of all times, so vividly. That's what it was like. Apparently, they would die too easily for some reason. According to one source, even if they roasted one side of a person to a crisp for an entire night, they would still be conscious and able to speak fluently. And then there's the witch burning scene from Day of Wrath, where they tie the witch to the top of a ladder, light a massive bonfire underneath, then tip her over face first into it. Oh, that's awful! Ooh. Goddamn, going hard on that one. That's insane. You'd grill someone for a whole day and they'd still be conscious. It's said that ancient Rome, famous for their executions, though of plenty of ways to execute someone while having the victim stay alive as long as possible. Among them, there was one method where they would open the gut, pull out the intestines like sausages, pull them over a winch, and then pull them on public display. Goddamn, the Romans went hard. Shion was behind me, clinging to me. Not just because she was scared. She was protecting her stomach. Yeah, fair. That's pretty gross. Tell her about Blood Eagles, Takano. Oh, I wonder if she'll mention that. You would think someone with their intestines pulled out would die instantly, right? Actually, as long as you do it tenderly and thoroughly, it's apparently possible to pull them all out while the person is still conscious. I felt a sick feeling in my stomach. It was like my organs were colliding up, just from Takano's stare. Though pulling them out with a winch is rather exaggerated method. In a more barbaric way, they might slice open the gut, then cut the intestines out and throw them everywhere. God damn! This is hilarious. You definitely did not get this in the anime. It's quite imaginable that they did dreadful things like that too, isn't it? However, those being put to death are conscious. It must be far more terrifying than painful. She spoke with pleasure, as if she had come here on a sightseeing trip. I mean, that's literally why she's here. I heard gulping multiple times near my ear. Perhaps Hinamizuwa, or rather Onigafuchi village, did something like that for the Wataganashi festival. Listen, if you try hard, you can hear it. I wanted nothing more than not to hear anything at all. So why? Why only at times like this do I begin to hear things I shouldn't be able to? There were some bells. Takano, having realized she'd scared Shion and I enough at this point, smiled soothingly. Then she turned on her heel and raised the lantern and began to walk again. If Takano-san left us here, we'd get even further away from the light. We were forced to follow Takano-san along on her field trip through the ritual storehouse. See, Shion looks like she's regretting this too. Regretty spaghetti for one Shion. I suppose we've seen a bit of everything. See? This place is interesting, isn't it? She says, raising the lantern high in the center of the storehouse. The dim light didn't change, but for some reason it felt like I was able to see all of the horrible tools at once. Keiji-chan, look up. Shion stammered while grabbing the nape of my neck. Blech! I couldn't tell because it was so dark, but there was a lot more tools hanging from the ceiling as well. They all looked like they were made of iron bars, but then I figured it out. Cages. For cages, they were very small, cramped cages, just for one, like a casket. If you got locked up in there, no, you wouldn't get locked up inside it. It was another tool meant for restraining people, where the iron bars would squeeze you tightly. All the so many big and large things of all shapes were hanging down. Takano-san's mention of execution by grilling crossed my mind. We weren't just surrounded on all sides by these terrifying instruments. Things crowding the ceiling were even hanging over our heads. There are many of these sort of cages among European torture devices. I'm surprised to see them in Japan as well. Kei-chan, is there something in there? A person? A mummy? Where? Shion desperately pointed to one of the many human-sized bird cages hanging from the ceiling, but I couldn't tell which one she meant. Being that dark, there wasn't any way you could tell if something was there in the first place. I don't see anything. You sure you're not seeing things? Shion didn't seem convinced, but without a means to confirm for ourselves, we couldn't do anything but wonder. Again, interesting, the polite Mayabara-kun, after seeing this, have you come to believe in all of it? The countless terrible rituals passed down in Hinamizawa? It's got nothing to do with believing in them. Now that I've been shown the real thing like this, there's no possible way to deny it. Even the nations of Europe, with all their beautiful landscapes and legends were like a maelstrom during the terrible witch hunts of the Dark Ages. It's well known that the era gave birth to countless gruesome forms of torture and execution. Japan was the same way. Didn't it have its own era of hellscape, like torturous feasts because of religious suppression and things like that nature? Hinamizawa itself had such a period. It had that much history behind it. Even in Europe, land of witch hunts. That was all far in the past now, no more than a series of historical events in this age. Nothing that abnormal would ever happen. That must apply to Hinamizawa as well. Just as Europe had its Dark Age, Hinamizawa had one too. That's how this should be taken. Even if these things all really happened in Hinamizawa, They're all long past. They don't have anything to do with the people living in Hinamizuo right now. Mayabara-kun, you really do like this village. It didn't sound like she was making fun of me. Takano-san gave me a light smile. Takano-san, you're researching whether those customs survived into the present. You are, right? Shion suggested something that made my heart leap into my throat. Are you telling me all these horrible things are still going on? Even today? What I'm about to tell you is a secret, alright? I told you, Shion, because you're an understanding person, but the other villagers won't want to hear it. If things go awry, I could get ganged up on and punished. Shion flashed a devilish smile and the immorality of it. Reveling in the immorality of it. I can read. Mayabara-kun, you keep it a secret too, okay? If this gets out, I could suffer on Yashiro-sama's curse or be made into a sacrifice. I mean, I feel like we could do that just by breaking in here, you know? If it's the curse, then I wonder what kind of death it'll be this year. If it's the sacrifice, then I'll be thrown into the Onagafuchi swamp while still alive. It's tonight, you know. The night of Onyashiro-sama's curse. Takano said, bringing her face up close to ours. As if to say, she had the choice. If she had the choice, she'd rather suffer the curse. That was what she seemed to be implying. Takano-san, who took a fairly worn notebook out of her bag, then began to flip through the pages. Takano would be like, oh no, I'm being chased and sacrificed by the villagers, whatever shall I do? Just like lying down next to the swamp like, oh no, I hope no one comes to sacrifice me. The letters were very small and bunched together, so I could tell at a glance what it was about. What I'd really like to do is search through the National Library for newspapers from the era, but here it is. A photocopy of a page from some book was slid into the notebook, and it, too, was written in small, tight lettering. Like other pages, I could tell what it was about just by glancing at it. This is a story that actually happened. It was around the end of the Meiji era. They discovered an unknown, mangled corpse of the victim of a murderer in Onigafuchi village. An old newspaper clipping attached to the pages spoke of something that was no mere rumor or fairy tale. We don't have most police documents from the time anymore, so it's all based on oral traditions and memories. See, it's not very clear, but it looks like a cutout of a newspaper from the Meiji era. We're so lucky we are the main character and we can't die at this point in the game. We're also lucky that this isn't a game with bad ends, so we're not going to get murdered by any of these two. It was wild. I remember when I first heard about Higurashi being a visual novel, I was like, oh, I wonder what choices you can make. And then I got told, oh, you don't make choices, you just read. It's literally just a novel with pictures, bro. Never before has there been a corpse treated with such cruelty and inhumanity. Could this be the work of a demon? Being a copy of a copy, it was very hard to make out, but it was more than enough to make me feel strangely tense. Near the end of the Meiji era, in old Onigafuchi village, a mangled corpse was discovered. The identity of the corpse was unknown. It wasn't even in a state where it could be identified in the first place. In Soviet Higurashi, choices make you. Choices make Keiji. It was missing a head, and each limb was separated from the body. Skin had been peeled off the entire body, and there were markings that implied terrible torture in every place imaginable. Not only that, but the belly had been cut open by a sharp knife, with the entrails completely dragged out. The police immediately began investigation, but since they couldn't even determine the identity of the victim, much less the criminal, finding answers was extremely difficult. Stag-do gone wild. Uh-oh, Stag-do became murder stew. Stag murder. Do you understand what it must have been like? I couldn't imagine such a strange sight, even if I tried. This was the first time I was ever thankful for my lack of imagination. The victim was skinned alive. While still alive, underwent all kinds of torture and was killed brutally. The author here also thinks that even after death, the remains were divided and dissected even further, the epitome of inhumanity. I'm of the opinion that the entire process was performed while the person was still alive, though. What do you think, Mayabara-kun? She spoke in a way intended to make me imagine even more vicious things. 'Cause Takano just likes fucking with you. As my brain was already far over capacity, however, there was no way I could imagine anything more brutal. When I broke my gaze with Takano-san, those strangely shaped weird tools were all around us. I wondered if you could faithfully reproduce the mutilated corpse discovered at the end of the Meiji era with the tools found in this place. Probably. I want to deny it. I don't want to admit that something so terrible could have happened at all. Even so, they were so strange, so terrifying, these tools, and as if they had seen through my attempt to escape from them, they did nothing but ridicule me silently. Knowing what I know, having seen the anime, this is way scary. This is way scarier than if I hadn't. I know, right? We never got to see this side of Takano like this before. Like, knowing things. Like, ah! So, that creepy incident, what was it in the end? The author says that regarding Onagafuchi Village's dreadful customs, they've survived into recent post-Meiji days, and that perhaps they lasted until around the beginning of the Showa period. The corpse, at a glance, appeared to have been brutally killed after a period of torture. In actuality, however, it was a pitiful sacrificial remains of the man-eater's terrifying feast. The corpse was just leftovers. It was so fantastic, so strange, that it didn't feel real. This was an extension of the legends too. It happened in the Meiji era though, which is just too recent to be called a legend. Also, there's a newspaper clipping right there suggesting it. Oh, okay, but if it really happened, it was a long time ago, right? I mean, the Meiji era ended 100 years ago. That's not that long ago, really. That's all. Only 100 years ago. That's only like 1 or 2 generations, bro. Besides, it kept happening even after the beginning of the Showa period. Like with the uproar around the post-war canned flesh incident. Oh, I apologize. Boo, wasn't it? Takano-san immediately stopped talking, as if worried about Shion. Shion briefly looked somewhat angry, but that expression soon disappeared. Huh? Takano-san, what did you just say? Canned flesh? Just then there was a huge creaking noise. Everyone whipped around to look. It was Tomitake-san who had opened the door slightly. Did I just startle you? Oh, Jiro-san! Could you not resist seeing inside? This is a splendid treasure trove of torture devices. I'll pass on that. Smartest man in the room, here. I'm bad with this sort of thing by nature. He's a soft boy. He just wants to take pictures of burbs. Takano-san held her stomach and had to muffle her laughter as she wanted to make a comment about his masculinity. Hey, it's the game being sexist again. In any case, the dance and ceremony are over. Everyone's going down to the stream. The festival will be over within minutes. Oh, that's no good. My Abada-kun is such a good listener that I couldn't help telling stories. I'd really rather you not mention me in a place like this. Jiro-san, could you wait up front? I want to take a few pictures. There are actually a lot of tools I'd like to bring home, but obviously we can't do that. Of course she wants to actually fucking take things. Jiro-san took a camera out of her... Takano-san took a camera out of her paper bag and began to snap. She looked like she was having fun, like she was on a scavenger hunt. Keiji-kun, are you leaving too? I've seen enough. Shion, you're good too, right? Let's get out of here. I want some fresh air. Second worst chat-up line I've heard. I agree. Let's leave. I did feel a bit of hesitation leaving Takano-san by herself in this darkness. When I thought about it, though, I realized that whatever kind of evil spirits and ghosts lurked in the darkness, none of them could hold a candle to how scary she was. Even if a phantasm were to appear, she'd be overjoyed and flash her camera at it. It seemed like Shion shared my somewhat rude mental images. We exchanged glances and smiled painfully. We left Takano-san there, bathed in her strobe of camera flashes, and decided to go leave the ritual storehouse. Oh, well that was definitely a lot different than the other one, isn't it? That was scary. That was spooky. Everyone at the festival seemed to have gone to the stream, so their voices were very distant. The voices of the bugs, on the other hand, were clear, lending an empty feeling to the isolation of the place. How was it? Fucking awful, mate. You need better taste in women. She's terrifying. Interesting? Tomitake-san gave us somewhat a mischievous grin. He could have been able to tell by looking at how pale our faces were. I should have kept watch outside with you, Tomitake-san. San's laugh was so delightfully... Tomitake-san laughed so delightfully that it wiped away our dark feelings. How did you fare, Shion? Were you scared? I was prepared for it, so I wasn't too afraid, but seeing the real thing was powerful. Shion spoke like she wasn't scared at all. She really had been quite afraid, but seeing as how I was in a way worse state than her, I didn't have much room to talk. As Tomitake-san grinned candidly, my mind, exhausted and locked up by nervousness, began to calm itself. Was Takano-san an adult about this expedition? No. I know how she seems like a child sometimes. I was worried she'd be way too excited. She was way too excited. Both Shion and I laughed and left that as our answer. Hopefully she was only looking at things. I'm worried she'll sneak something out of there or mess with the ritual implements too much and break it or something. Right, that's quite possible. She is alone in there right now. She might pilfer something small and easily concealed, hiding in her pocket. Yeah, I could see that. Shion said what I was thinking. You sure she didn't break anything? I could clearly hear some noises, like someone jumping up and down. I was getting pretty nervous. I'm sorry, I ran out of film. Jiro-san, if you have any more, I could use some. Takano's sneaking an entire guillotine out in her purse. Yeah! Takano-san suddenly appeared while we were talking about her, taking everyone by surprise. Tomitake-san smoothly grinned and responded as if nothing happened. He's pretty mature. Is it worth watching the anime? Yes. You still get some of the fluff every time, but they do cut it down. So, like, this whole chapter, this whole Wataganashi chapter this is my, fifth stream of it now? It's cut down to, like, I think 4 to 5 episodes each that So you get through it a lot quicker than, like, you would with me reading it here. But that scene was cut hella short in the anime. We did not get, like, a lot of the stories from Takano-san and things like that. Takano-san herself has very little to do in the anime. And my mother is calling, but I'm going to call her back after stream. Sorry, mother. Anyway. I'm all out of spare film. I didn't bring any because I know you'd want some. Sorry about that. Jeez. You wouldn't win any Pulitzer Prize not stocking enough film for any occasion, you know. I suppose that's it then. Tomitake-san scratched his head apologetically. Without film, we're done here. Sorry, Briony's mum, we're the important ones. I just know what she'll be like, and we've only got like 20 minutes or so, half an hour, 20 minutes of the stream, and I wanna read more! Takano seemed to have given up because of that too. We checked carefully to make sure we hadn't left anything inside, then closed the door and turned the heavy padlock we left beside it. Takano-san, you didn't sneak anything out, right? How rude. I'm trying not to be that childish. At least she's trying. She's putting in an effort. Ka-clack! Tomitake set the padlock back the way it was before. From a cursory glance, it didn't look like thieves had snuck in at all. Okay, let's go over to the stream ourselves. If we don't at least set some cotton afloat, there won't be any point in coming to the festival. Tomitake-san spoke brightly, urging us all on. Setting cotton afloat down the stream. Do I have a Samsung? Yes, I do. I shake my head a few times, driving away my dismissal thoughts as the double meaning. Yeah, let's put the cotton afloat down the stream. I mean the guts afloat. I mean the cotton afloat down the stream. Takano-san was looking a little let down, kept turning back to glance at the ritual storehouse. Let's just leave it at that, alright? You saw enough to sate your curiosity, didn't you? Oh, not at all. Everything I found only renewed my interests. All those stories and legends suddenly hold water. After today, I'm going to have to change the way I look at this. Oh, she's truly indomitable. Her curiosity really is something else. Still interested in all this, through and through. She's scary. I never want to see her again. We descended the stone stairs, and all the people crowding the stream came into view. Near the bottom of the stairs, we could clearly see people receiving cotton that had been cut out for them, then wishing upon the cotton and setting it afloat downstream. The festival was already over. Damn. Missed my chance to photograph the best part of Wataganashi. Oh, but it's not too late. I'm gonna go set some afloat. Perhaps you could take a picture of me? Takano-san, with an impish expression, brought her head to Tomitake-san's shoulder. Despite his age, he looked embarrassed. I felt an honest respect for Tomitake-san, man to man, for dating such a handful of a woman. For dating such a terrifying woman, full stop. Goodbye then, Mayabata-kun, Shion-chan. We're going to the stream. Would you like to come with us? No, I couldn't get in your way. Please take your time. Shion waved her hand with an expression just as impish as Takano-san's. Tomitake-san, on his part, seemed to want us to come, but whatever. Shion gave a big stretch and sat down on the stone steps. I'm pretty worn out. Same here. I'm exhausted too. Kei-chan, this is your first Wataganashi, isn't it? You go on, don't mind me. I'm tired, so I'd like to stay away from the crowd. Boy, I'm sure glad we'll be seeing them again soon. Yeah, I'm sure nothing bad will happen. Yeah, if we go down now, we'll barely slip into the end of the cotton drifting ceremony. My sister and your other friends might be looking for you too. Go on. Oh yeah, right. They've been by themselves ever since we got separated. I feel bad if they were looking for me. Then Shion suddenly got a playful look on her face, then put her index finger up to her lips as if telling me to keep this a secret. Well, yeah, I know. My sister is the type that gets really jealous. If she knew I was hugging you for this whole time, she'd never let me hear the end of it, so keep tonight a secret, okay? There are so many reasons to keep tonight a secret, and that is the least of them, Shion. Keep tonight a secret. Don't say things that are so embarrassing. Not only because of that either. Considering what we were doing tonight, we really need to keep it a secret. Onyashiro-sama's curse might happen tonight, and we four would be prime candidates. The loosening threads of tension became taut again. Shion, however, burst out laughing. Alright, I'm going to get out of here before I run into my sister. I really am tired, so I don't have the endurance to put up with her anyway. I can't tell if you get along with her or not. You don't. We get along. Though, as she said, her vague expression explained that there was a lot of oddities in a relationship between twins. I'm an only child, so I don't really get it. Make sure you get along with her, okay? Right, thank you kindly for your meddling. Okay, I'm gonna go. You should hurry up if you want to make it, Kei-chan. Wataganashi is really about to end. Shion stood up and brushed off the dust from her backside. After watching her do so, I returned my eyes to the final ceremony of the Wataganashi festival below me. Seriously though, what was that sound anyway? It was kind of unpleasant and creepy. Huh? What sound? The sound. You know, the banging noise? It was really loud, wasn't it? I was giving her a blank expression, so Shion stared hard at me. I stared hard at her too. Sorry, Shion, could you give me the short version? What was making noise? Wait, Kei-chan. It didn't bother you? When all's said and done, it was like we were speaking two different languages. Shion, explain to me, without jokes from the beginning, will you? What's this about a noise? Kei-chan, you quit joking around too. Really, honestly, it didn't bother you? Neither of us were giving any ground. And both of us were staring at the other in disbelief. We were answering questions with more questions, with no sign of an actual conversation in sight. Baffled, I held in the urge to shout at her. and asked politely one more time. I'm going to ask you one more time, okay? I'll ask the questions. Shion nodded silently. Okay, here goes. You said there was a sound. What are you talking about? The banging sound. It was like a kid jumping up and down on the floorboards somewhere far away. Tomitake-san said he heard that too. It really didn't bother you? There was nothing to be bothered by. When did you hear this? I never heard anything. Wait, Kei-chan, are you being serious? Shion, as if she didn't understand my plain and simple answer, pressed me further, her expression serious. I have no clue what she's talking about, but if it has Shion acting like this, whatever it was, it gave me the creeps and sent a chill down my spine. It was while we were looking around inside the ritual storehouse with Takano-san. About the time she started her stories, I think it was. Little by little, louder and louder, off and on. She heard banging sounds like a child jumping on distant floorboards. That can't be true. Don't start trying to scare me after all that. I didn't hear anything at all. In fact, it was so utterly silent in there that my own heartbeat was almost deafening. Please don't try to scare me either, Kei-chan. It was like something was making noise in time with Takano-san's scary stories, and I was totally creeped out the whole time. A chill rose from my spine to the back of my head. My blood turned cold as it crawled up my body. When it reached my head, my mind froze. You and Takano-san weren't paying attention to it at all, so I pretended not to hear it either, but you heard it, right? It happened a bunch of times, and it was really loud. Shion's eyes were begging me to tell her I heard it. I had no doubt, however, that my own eyes suggested something entirely different. You've got to be kidding, look. In the storehouse, we were surrounded by brutal ritual tools that looked like they were from another planet, listening to terrifying old stories. The whole time Shion had been hearing a sound that we couldn't hear by herself. Shouldn't that make Shion, who heard it, tremble, or should that make me, who didn't hear it, tremble? I didn't know the answer to that at the time. For now, Shion seemed to have made that decision before I did. What are you laughing about? I really got you, Kei-chan. I don't believe you. You were just covering because you were too scared. I was fibbing the whole time. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. Don't bullshit me, girl. I see you. What? Shion laughed, saying how easily scared I was. No, Shion. No. You heard it. So did Tomitake-san. She's saying how easily scared I was and clapped me on the back. Her smile seemed somehow artificial and actually made me feel worse. Then, after leaving me with 2 or 3 generic diplomatic goodbye phrases, she left almost like she was running away. All I could do was look after her, my mouth agape. At the end of the day, I didn't have a clue what was going on. Shion laughed it off and said she'd been lying, but she couldn't possibly have been lying. Of course not. And now that I think back, Tomitake-san said the same thing, didn't he? I could clearly hear some noises, like someone jumping up and down. I was getting pretty nervous. Tomitake-san, the most neutral in the party at the time, said he'd heard something. Then that noise. It was real. The banging noises. Sounds as though a child was jumping up and down on some kind of floorboards far away. Or was a child beating a futon far away? Onyashiro-sama's curse, which happens every year, might. And the most plausible victim candidates were Takano-san, Tomitake-san, Shion, and me. The bustling of the people sounded further away than I would have liked, and the sounds of the insects sounded so too close for comfort. I'm near so much human warmth, yet I can't ever go back there again. That was the ominous idea that sprouted in my mind. Then all of a sudden, I was pounced on by behind, causing my heart to lurch. Hey, Rika! Keiji, we found you! It was Rika-chan. When I turned around, Mion and Rena were there too. We finally found you! Now we just need to find Satoko. Everyone got split up this year! We should make sure we have somewhere to meet up afterwards next year. Aww. Oh, now my throat's struggling now. You're right. It's a festival, so we should all be together. I listened to Mion's happy declaration with a bit of guilt. Keiji, did you root for me while I was dancing? Of course we did, sweetie! Oh yeah! I saw it all! You did a great job all the way through. No mistakes either. She likes to be acknowledged. Yeah! That's right, Rika-chan. That didn't count as a mistake. I tensed up as I realized I'd made a mistake of my own. Mion slapped a hand onto my shoulder a little roughly. A gross sweat broke out over my whole body. Did you do it too, Kei-chan? Did you get some cotton and send it down the stream? You haven't yet, right? Is that what I could feel her saying? Close, man! Close, man! Yay, we go back to fooling around. Just a little bit. Just a little bit of fooling around. Yes, that is the fun of Higurashi. It is a horror mystery. And you have to get through all the chapters to really find out what's going on. You get little bits in each chapter, and they all, for the most part, are their own story. But it's all under a layer of Maui Maui Kyun. Without the courage to tell any more lies, I lifelessly shook my head. Huh? You haven't, Kichi-kun? You should go now or it'll be over. It'll be over. Sorry, this is my first Wataganashi, so I don't really understand the rules and stuff. That's right. I'm sorry. Mion took my hand and we started walking down the stone steps. Maui Maui murder! Correct. Hey, Kei-chan. What? Did you see Shion? My heart skipped into the beat. Maybe Mion could sense my surprise through my hand. No, well, I sort of saw her. You two look alike, so I thought it might have been you. You wouldn't have gotten that wrong. We're wearing different clothes. Huh? Oh, that's right. Mion's momentary silence was like a death grip upon me. I just can't do anything about that Shion. Well, it's her we're talking about, so we can just leave her be. Mion's expression returned to her former usual smile, and we continued down the stone steps, her firmly pulling my hand along. I always think it's frozen before those lines come in, and I click it a few times. I'm like, ah, okay then, it's good. We're good. It appears. We have lines. Oh, we have more scrapbook notes from Thingy. Yay. Scrapbook notes, scrapbook. Plumbering. Plumbering. That was an achievement called Plundering the Depths, but I think maybe I read it wrong, but it looked like there was a B instead of a D. Okay, scrapbook 4. Wataganashi. The rite of Wataganashi is performed during a village festival every June, even now, but reading back to its origin turns up a seriously sanguine ceremony. Originally, Wataganashi would happen at certain intervals, and after receiving Onishiro-sama's trust, they'd choose a sacrifice. Then the entire village would kidnap the person and ceremonially dissect and devour them in a feast. Plumbering the depths. The rules that determined the intervals are shrouded in mystery. This is because the ceremonies occurred irregularly. There's a theory that it was determined based on astrological fortune-telling, but it isn't too convincing. The residents of Onigafuchi village firmly believed that if they were half-man, half-demon transcendents, that they were more valuable than humans were, and they forced people within and without to accept that. Perhaps the act of kidnapping and eating people was done to prove that they were higher on the food chain. This is just a hypothesis, but maybe the rite of Wataganashi was a political event for the purpose of being an outlet for the villagers of the isolated village of Onigafuchi village. In any case of their complaints or dissatisfactorations. Screw serious. If that was the main reason these ceremonies were held, then it's easy to explain how erratic they were. So basically, whenever they got mad, they'd go kidnap someone and eat them. Nom 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 nom. Next! The alleged importance of the implements. I can't find anything that gives a concrete description on what the ritual implements were like. They were, however, real, and there definitely existed a multitude of different kinds. One source states that the implements used in the Wataganashi rite alone numbered 200. The obvious question, then, is why they required such a myriad of them. The rite of Wataganashi was to kidnap people, through the demoning away, dissect them and eat them. I believe the tools were for dissection and restraining, but 200 of them is far too many. Generally, tools evolve in such a way as to reach a solution from certain problems, though once you've reached the ultimate goal, that is, attained a certain level of efficiency, the tool's evolution normally stops there. Regardless, why would they have created so many different kinds of tools? One of the cultural elements responsible for diversification over time is that of entertainment. Tools used for entertainment would evolve over time and branch out. Unlike normal tools, reaching the ultimate goal would be more of a dead end. And in searching for the next goal, they would split into many different subtypes. So then perhaps it's not a stretch to suggest that these 200 plus implements had some entertainment value. This is just a hypothesis, of course, but maybe the human dissection process was viewed as a type of entertainment. The three families of old would develop one new implement dissection tool after another, and each was varied, novel, and attracted spectators to keep them from growing bored. It's not unimaginable. All of them have been enshrined within that storehouse. There isn't much longer until the night of Wataganashi. Though its original intent has been lost, I will revel in the secrets of the traditional ceremonial night within the ritual storehouse. I can't restrain my excitement. Wataganashi cannot come soon enough. Yep, that was definitely Takano's notebook, definitely. Big stretch, big stretch. We have 5 minutes, so I may as well read the after festival note as well. This will be from the police again. Late that night, tensions in the police station were strained. In the silence, many of the staff members' eyes shifted back and forth between the clock and their telephones, counting the seconds in that stifled atmosphere. Kumagaya-kun burst in with a young guy trailing behind him. "Oh, she said, we got the autopsy result from the court physician just got here. I'm ready to go, sir. I'll head straight for the burned body's location." "Kuma-chan, things have gotten a bit complicated. They appear to have a very difficult time dealing with determining who the victim is." "Could they have been dismembered?" "Nope. Cooked to a nice light brown." He spoke in sportive tones, but the meaning behind his words was heavy. The staff gave a collective sigh. "All the way? Head to toe?" "Completely blackened, it seems. Probably smells terrible, too. What a shame it was to be Gifu-san. Cooked with no possessions, then discarded outside of the prefecture. At worst, it would have taken a week for the body to be identified. The fact that they'd sniffed it out tonight was huge. Komiya-san and a few others are performing a thorough night raid on their dentist in Okonomiya. All we can do is hope the tooth matches and matches some medical records. Sorry. Could someone go buy me 2 or so boxes of strong cigarettes? The young guy answered in affirmation and darted into the hallway. We did an excellent job finding it this year. It could be that the people who disappeared in the past years were scattered outside the prefectures like this too. Then why not bury or sink them in the Sea of Japan or Lake Biwa or something like that? Why though? Hasn't the pattern so far been one person dies and another disappears? Kuma-chan, the corpse was inside an oil drum, restrained and cooked. They probably burned them after strangling them. They knew it would be found. So what you mean is, from the beginning, they didn't want a person to disappear this year? Not so much, as they just aren't related. The person didn't disappear. In fact, whoever did seems to have wanted to make a show of it. You mean it could be a warning? He folded his arms and then heaved a long, heavy sigh. That might have been the case had it happened in town. If they'd messed up, taking the victim far away and burning them alive would have been noticed. If they meant it as a warning, they should have done it closer to Hinamizawa. They wanted to emphasize the fact that they killed the victim, but instead of doing it somewhere for dramatic effect, they did it outside the prefecture. Did they want to emphasize it or hide it? Boy, I wonder what Oyashiro-sama's up to this year. The telephone ring cut through the heavy silence. A staff member snatched up the receiver. "Oshi, it's Komiyama. They have it. The dental clinic in Okonomiya fixed 3 years ago." "What about the records? Complete with x-rays?" "Well, I feel bad for waking up the dentist before dawn. Kuma-chan, get out there as soon as you can and get the records from Komiya-kun." "Will do." "Oh, it's the chief. Thank you for coming out at this hour." "Oshi-san, my apologies for my lateness. What's the situation?" Well, it's just getting good. We're all getting fired up. Wah! So someone has died. Someone has died after burning in a barrel and getting cooked. Very much like we've discussed. But unfortunately, who died is what we'll have to find out next week! Because we'll have to end the stream there, unfortunately. Let's save that. That's the end of chapter 7. We're going on to chapter 8. I will find out how many chapters there are by the end of the stream. By next stream. Because I can do a better Google now that I'm not on the stream. But anyway. Oh my gosh. So much stretch. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you everyone in chat. Thank you anyone who lurked. Thank you anyone who watches the VOD. If you have not already, I would highly appreciate it. If you are on YouTube, if you could leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. And if you are on Twitch, if you could follow the channel. We've gotten to 70 followers. That's very exciting. Hopefully we get that average 3 views at some point and we can get affiliate soon. Hopefully. I would like to give you buttons to press. It would be fun. If you have done that and you have some spare money to share with your VTuber friendo, you have many ways to do that. You have YouTube memberships where you get emotes, exclusive streams, a Discord channel, and merch discounts. We have the Patreon where you get short stories, exclusive streams, merch discounts, and free books. You've got the Kofi where there are small short story audiobooks in the shop. There is also my actual merch store, which has ebooks, first edition copies of my books, bookmarks, keyrings, t-shirts, a notebook, a soft pillow with a chibi on it, and a sticker roulette, and another book that has my lore in it, a lore book as well. But that is all. That is all I have for you, and I need to go call my mother again and see what she wanted. I will see you guys not tomorrow, Sunday. I will see you guys on Sunday, where we will be looking at something called Colossal. I'm not going to tell you what it is. We're going to have fun with that on Sunday, and I'll see you guys there. But for now, that is all I got for you. I had fun. I hope you had fun. This has been Bradley Rose Smith, Life of the Forbidden Library. Goodbye.